From Zoom. So basically, I always need to start. Jamshi, great, good to have you here. Awesome, we have a great guy coming in. It's great. So Jamshid is actually a super smart guy that I really love. Jamshid, are you there? Can you hear me? See, you're still on mute.
Hi there.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, thanks. Good to be here.
Hey, great to have you. Let me actually stop sharing and let me see if I actually we're gonna see you in the live. I think we do, and I think we will. So first of all, great to have you here. Let me quickly, actually, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, and then I'll just add some really great words about you, and then I'll tell you what I'm doing right now because I'm like testing some live streaming stuff. Thanks for being here, Jamshid.
Oh, absolutely. It's a pleasure. I just saw you being online again and broadcasting, so I thought I'd come in and have a blast from you. So yeah, those who don't know me, my name is Jam. I'm an entrepreneur from Rome and Berlin, and just about launching my own startup on EdTech, and have a fan of Vincenzo.
Hello, Jamshid, can you hear me?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and by the way, I'll put on the video just to say hi real quick. I'm actually dressed up to go run a bit with the Roma t-shirt and a hat from a Brazilian soccer team. So sorry, I don't look very professional, but hey, I think this is, just Zuckerberg can wear a hoodie. Why can't we wear sporty clothes all the time? That's normal in California, it should become more normal in Europe. But I want to tell you about this because I've been basically going really deep into live streaming, and it's been amazing. It's been like, the reason why I've been going live so many times is that I was like trying out all the different solutions to go live and figure out, what I can do. So I was first using StreamYard, which was everything in one web solution to go live. And then I basically figured out that via Zoom, it makes it much easier for anybody else to join. But also by connecting Restream, I can go live to like a lot more channels than StreamYard allowed. And of course, we could host potentially a lot more people because StreamYard only allowed up to 6 people. But what I realize is still missing, and that makes me realize it's still the very beginning of the live streaming space, is that right now I asked the Restream guys, Restream support, it's very hard to actually, if let's say you had LinkedIn Live, it'd be very hard for you to hop in on this call and push it also to
Do you hear me actually? Yeah, I have you double actually here. I have you as a host.
Now, how about now?
Perfect.
Sorry, guys. Again, part of the testing part. Definitely, I realized that I need to have. How long have you not? What was the last thing you heard?
Well, I missed like kind of 50 seconds, a minute, something like that.
And what do you remember the last thing I said, so I can try to continue from that?
No, it's you were talking about comparing the two platforms, and that the Zoom is better for various reasons, and the other platform you're using could only take up to 6 people, and then from then on I started to lose you.
Perfect. Sorry. So yeah, that's pretty much what I was saying, is that, you know, StreamYard only allowed us to 6 people. Everything was happening on web, so I could not live stream from mobile. So now the cool thing is that, you know, I have my kind of work set up here, but you know, I can also live stream it straight from mobile. So I did a couple of live stream tests, you know, going in the countryside and walking and doing the live stream. Of course, removing video just because it's really annoying to see people like move around. With a video, sure. People get really dizzy. But what I was saying is that even using and actually I might turn off the video and continue with the audio.
Sure.
But basically what I was saying is that I feel, you know, we are just at the very beginning of live streaming. Live streaming like hit me like crazy, meaning that, you know, I was just like, I could not almost not sleep at some point. Like because I had so many ideas about live streaming. There were so many questions in my head, you know, when you have like, it's like when an artist or someone like a scientist is like, of course I'm not as nearly as smart as those guys, but just I got very passionate about it, let's say, you know, forgive my intelligence, but I just think that we are at the very beginning of live streaming. It's still, we haven't seen anything, you know, we are like at the MS-DOS of live streaming. So and the point, what I was saying before, what I'm missing is that basically I believe it's going to be very easy soon through some platforms, which I think still need to be built. We're actually looking to building something on this, which will allow a lot of people to go live at the same time. But also imagine now you would be streaming to your social networks. Now that would make it a multiplier effect. You know, Marco, let's say Marco
lost you again.
Lost me again.
Yeah, but you're back there again now. I'm switching off my video as well to see if that helps.
That could help actually. Let's see. How about now?
I hear you well.
Okay. So yeah, I basically create like a multiplier effect. If like more people join the live and they were streaming also to their social network. So I'll go on mute since I think you have a better connection. Maybe you can talk to us about what I just told you about live streaming and talk to us also about your education startup. And I think feel free to put the video back.
Sure. Interesting. That's very unexpected. But it's funny that you say the educational story and the live streaming, because I started to use live streaming just for the sake of contributing to the society since the corona started, and started to run various workshops of 20 minutes, 1.5 hours, up to 3-4 days, all via Zoom, basically trying to see and look at the span of focus of people and what topics keep them going, what makes them come back. So on one hand, I was trying to contribute and keep people motivated and inspired and help them to go through these hard times, but at the same time trying to, you know, as a give and take, analyze their set of behaviors and pattern of what they like and dislike and how they react. So after 2 months, I have a feeling some people started to actually almost integrate this habit of going online and interacting with people so well that, as you rightly said, Vincenzo, is like, I'm sure it's now going to take a leap and move forward a lot more. Many people are going to be using it. I think corporate's going to have actually the much more challenge, because people now have started to use it a lot and got their fear off and are much more relaxed doing that type of work. even though they're going to miss like the human touch and contact. But altogether, the company is going to be now forced to even give more attention to the technology, which made me actually, having worked on the education sector for 20 years now, started to make me feel more and more and more about, so obviously the education needs to fully go online. And it was there before, like online courses and all of that, no doubt. But it was almost like a one-way street. So you provide people with some digital content and you have no control over how do they like it and how do they interact with it? How do they feel as if this is like a real exchange with some real human being, even though it's all digital? So I started to basically focus my recent startup on education being almost like lots of SaaSes put together, lots of little features, all software driven, but trying to imitate the needed guidance and coaching and support people need to keep the motivation up and going. And yeah, that's where I'm at the moment, back in Berlin from Rome, and trying to launch this organization right now. I hope
your connection is good. By the way, before that's super helpful. By the way, before I forget, I was actually speaking to the president of IE. It's a school in Madrid, which you might know.
Yeah.
They have like very prestigious MBAs. It's a very nice guy. He has 150,000 followers on LinkedIn, Santiago Miguez. And we've been speaking because I invited him to go on a live stream sometime, and he's totally up for it. Because I think he applied for LinkedIn Live, but still didn't like started actually live streaming. And you know, I'm at the point where I'm venturing on mobile live streaming. So I know sometimes I can lose the connection, but it's like, you have no idea how much I felt liberated in terms of knowing that I can do a live streaming while I'm on the go. It's just like a whole sort of kind of, yeah, it's just, I always need things that make my heart beat, you know, and live streaming at first it did. And then like doing from mobile, it did again, you know, now I need more people from mobile massively, like always on to the next thing. So actually we were looking to do a panel on the future of education. So please remind me, I think you'd be a great candidate, you know, because he was looking for somebody more entrepreneurial and stuff as well.
With pleasure.
So please like text me about that.
Yeah, I'll be in touch.
And by the way, do you have anything to share? Like if you're in front of a computer, do you have any, like you feel like doing any screen sharing, or you're not ready yet for that about your startup?
I don't have much in here right now to share with you as quickly, but to what direction can I take you? I can describe you a little bit more if that helps.
Yeah, sure. To be honest, I also wanted to hear it myself, but I look forward to see it. I'm still looking forward to see some material, some documents, but definitely like hearing about it for sure. Like,
Sure. Next time we're going to be in touch, I'm going to be sharing some documents with you gladly. What I can tell you at this stage is basically so I've been working a lot with online educations, and I started to realize that most providers complain about the ratio of people who finish a class, which is not above 20%. So 80% of everyone who starts an online training drops it for various reasons. Lack of concentration, maybe the content is not fitting, maybe they have no one who helps them to track it, maybe they just lack motivation, maybe they don't have the right fit to the sources. So people are different in terms of learning habits. Maybe someone is much better in reading stuff, the other one want to listen to stuff or go visual. So all of that is so individual. And most current companies who go on the digital and online training and education, they pretend or claim to create a personalized training concept, but it's not the case. It's rather categorized. And so you go and say, this is the topic you need to learn if you want to become a JavaScript guru, or this is what you learn to become a digital marketer. So it's a package of information. Someone curated them certainly well, but it's like created for a mass and for a package of people, but no individuals. So observing this, I started to think, what if I create an assessment which is going to look into the details of really every individual's habits and needs based on their interest, based on their talents, based on their background. So taking components and bring them together, which most assessments do as a single pattern, but never put together. And this way, not only think of, okay, I have a company, I have 500 people, I want to train them in digital marketing, but then come and say, I have these 500 people and they are individuals, and some of them might be having specific talents I never looked at, because as a human being, they are more than just a digital marketer. And therefore, if I go that route, how quickly can I then really personalized training based on those information I grab from those people? So that was the starting point of our venture. And then obviously, once you start talking to those people and create those very specific assessments to get to know the individuals much better, I started to then add up the next feature to say, okay, everyone has a learning journal. You can, almost like your diary, you write about everything you experience. And if so, what if I can create a pattern of everything you have learned in the past connected to your talents, your interests, market trends, and all of that. And based on those information, then give recommendations on what topics you can work on, which would fit you most and would be relevant to challenges on the market on a local level, so that you can have a much better targeted further education of yourself. And so the platform is basically providing not the pure, say, learning management system or a course in itself. That's irrelevant because there are so many courses out there and so many providers, but it gives you all the bits and bytes. It arms you with lots of bits and bytes, which helps you to go through a, say, lifelong learning journey. And it collects amazing amount of information, which helps you to even get deeper and deeper and become even more focused and related to what you learn. It creates a beautiful community by itself of people like-minded and people of same interest for the same topics. So yeah, there we are. That's what I can tell you at this stage. And we are, we are just talking to.
I'm all ears. I'll let you go.
Big people.
That was amazing. That was amazing. And I have a couple of questions, and I'll let you decide which one you want to take first. So one question is about live streaming and education. So I believe as live streaming is growing in terms of importance, I see, live streaming / webinar, right? So I see a lot more content and educational content being delivered by, let's call them influencers or, people with followers, whether they are on LinkedIn or whatever social platform. So this like teaching is getting democratized, right? So more and more people are doing it. And that's one aspect. But then, of course, with COVID, you cannot really be in a school, right? So without you being in a school, it's like, well, I have to do the classes online anyways. So like the whole point of being in school and networking, falls apart. Again, online education. And so that's where I believe we're again in the very, very early stages of this, and I feel that there's going to be, my thinking is that there's going to be a very long tail of content producers and enabled by COVID and by live streaming technologies. Do you agree? You disagree? What do you feel about it? I feel like the importance of schools as such as they are in universities, as physical places, is of course going down given these two factors, technology and COVID.
Absolutely, you're right. Like live streaming going to be having a tremendous role in education, but then you need to be really cautious about the two different things. One is information, the other one is communication. Information is a one-way street, so providing content via webinars or different ways of digital transmission of information if you don't have a direct feedback of people who are looking at you or listening to what you say, yes, some of them might have a great learning out of it, but many others might miss the point and have no chance to interact with you. I think the future of why I like the live streaming is, despite the digital platform, it still gives a feel for you are in interaction with a person. And if you manage to keep the group dynamic in a way that you can literally respond to people and get them engaged, then this is spot on. I think this will go that way. There will be a lot of AR and VR being integrated into that to make sure that people have that chance of interaction. As you know yourself, it's all about creating an experience, and the learning starts the moment you do it yourself, and not during the time you just listen to it and observe it. So I think that would be the next stage. That would be the modification of how webinars and live streaming start to become more and more interactive and allow people to be a part of it and part of the production itself. That's why those typical, celebrity classes are actually just partially successful. It's like very much matter of taste. So if you're a super fan of someone, of course, you watch him doing the stuff, you always watch him anyway, and you get some tips and tricks out of it, but it's not the real learning. Which it's fun. It's fun.
I just got to my to this walking place in the countryside. There's a bit of wind. I hope you don't hear it too much. How's the audio?
No, the audio is fine. The audio is fine. I still hear you well when you talk.
Cool. Good. That's good. The both noise canceling headsets, they help out a lot. So my other question was about, I am feeling the need of setting up a school to get people, especially here, in southern Italy, which is one of the poorest part of Western Europe, to basically, learn how to a school to teach people how to make money online. So a school which reduces the gap between the job market, which doesn't really exist around here, and actually, making money, which is what's needed. So, range, and I'm thinking stuff around like, affiliate marketing, of course, avoiding multi-level marketing where people need to actually put money in ahead of time, and just like, sell other software, stuff like that, maybe some influencer management, I'm not sure, maybe some drop shipping, so things that, you can start making money quite quickly without any strange schemes, but that people really need to know, like, how do I get going in 1, 2, 3, go type of thing. Any thoughts on that? Any recommendations on this? I mean, does it make sense to you? What do you think?
Absolutely. My instant reaction and recommendation to you would be, so topic-wise, you're picking something beautiful. I'm sure there will be enough, like more than just a critical mass who would show interest. Through the digital format of your work, you can make it affordable to many people. When it comes down to the curation and creation of your content and the program itself, my only recommendation to you would be to keep it, again, as interactive as possible, to have those people learn that by working on real projects. That would give them the most learning curve, and also encourage them to understand the real effect and output you have been trying to make them understand. So works for me. Good idea. Let me know when I have to start spending my money on it.
That's awesome. 1 second. Okay, yeah. That's great to hear. By the way, there's a guy, Paul, here on the waiting room. Paul, please text me. I need to know who you are. The first time I did this, I got Zoom bumped. So there was a guy who was like, saying some bad words. So I need to know who people are. I'm not accepting anyone at this point. Lessons learned, It felt a bit like, I felt a bit ashamed But on the other side, there's no other way to learn by making mistakes. I'm sure you agree with that.
Absolutely.
So sorry about that. So any other thoughts or comment from yourself?
Not that far. As you said about the program you were saying, I really think that works well. It's a good idea. It's a very good idea. I like if you would start making it connected to some relevance and some relevant problems, even locally and nationally, so that people, I think if you want to have it much broader, it's good to be beyond just, hey, I teach you how to make quick and easy money via internet and software, but to say, hey, I teach you to make easy, quick money and do something useful, that would be even much more interesting, you know, and making long-term sense and become sustainable. Then you can hit the target with that. I like the idea very much.
Yeah, and I need to figure out better how to brand it and you know, how to approach it. But it's early thinking, but I feel like I can start doing some stuff to make some impact, especially here locally, because I'm a bit disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually using two devices. Were you hearing some echo at some point while I was speaking before, or?
No, but it's interesting. I was just going to tell you the device you were just using before this one has a much more clear sound. It was like as if you're walking somewhere outside and then you suddenly went into some indoor area, which made your sound becoming much more clear. And then you're back to this one, which I was used to. So yeah, I recognize the change of voice.
Hold on, I really need to test this. So this is Android with the Bluetooth headset.
Okay.
And then an Iliad mobile network, and I'll do a test with Vodafone iPhone.
And this is Vodafone iPhone.
Yeah, this is like 1,000 times better.
So what I'm gonna buy early on Monday, as soon as the shop open, is AirPods Pro. So basically AirPods Pro, iPhone, and Vodafone, that should be the best.
Mm-hmm. So this one has like sometimes, I don't know if because of maybe you having the two devices close to one another, this one has like slight echo at the beginning of your talking, but voice-wise is like much more clear and clean and without any surrounding disturbance and stuff like that.
Keep talking for a couple of minutes while I set something up. 1 second. Okay,
so I need to host your people. Let me see, what can I tell you? I can talk to you about the, so this is the interesting topic I'm working on at the moment. It's about this diversity of how different companies and countries at the same time will have a different pace to recover after the crisis. Obviously, Europe as a union kind of totally failed and became like kind of single organizations. And same thing happened to the companies. Everyone was like kind of locked within themselves. So each individual, each organism had to think of their own way of dealing with it. And this is creating a huge gap of like kind of speed and time for different organizations. And this will be something unique in terms of recovery after a crisis. Usually when you have a typical financial crisis or something like that, it affects everyone at the same time in the same way, more or less. And then they all start pushing themselves back up. This time, every single type of industry has a different pace to recover. Every country within Europe has a different pace to recover. And that is affecting...
I'm back, by the way, anytime.
Good.
How's this audio now? Is it still good like before, or?
Yeah, it's nice.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so now I'm on that Bose Bluetooth headset plus iPhone plus Vodafone. I mean, this is part of the testing. You know, I'm very sorry for the guys that
you know, they must be like, oh, this is so annoying. I learned so much during these live streams. I mean, again, I think you'll agree with that, and I'll keep saying it because it's so true. Like, until you try, there's no learning. And I think maybe the video is good enough. I can even put the video on, so to show that I'm really in the countryside.
Good.
But I mean, it's. I think right now, some people might find it a bit crazy. I'm doing this. I've not seen anyone doing the live stream. Right now, all the lives have been like with a proper setup, sitting on your desk and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm thinking, I'm hoping as well with 5G, this is going to become more normal, right? To like, and you know, to be honest, I was excited that I was able to do this through Zoom, because through StreamYard, I had actually no way to do it. And when I saw this setup via Zoom and Restream, that I was actually able to do it, I got so excited. I was like, I need to test this, you know. And I know I'm pushing it a bit because I'm not being able to make the live stream as professional. But then I said, you know, I think the format for this kind of live networking sessions is changing to be more like a radio. You know, I'm obviously not putting the video on because I'm walking around, but it's like if, you know, back to the old radio style, and you could dial in, and you know, while the other format is like a more professional, you know, live streaming in front of a computer, sitting down and stuff like that. So I think there's also different type of live streams that you can do for different purposes. There's a third one I've been doing on the weekend with my alumni from one of my masters, where we just grab coffee and we talk, and that has been super nice as well. So have you also seen this kind of like different types of live streams, and do you feel like it's gonna like open up to more? I mean, we of course got the gamers, but it's like,
true.
What do you think?
I haven't seen that myself, but it sounds very interesting. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see that.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I have not seen it, so like I'm still kind of waiting to hear the responses. You know, so I'm not completely ditching the formal live streaming in a standard setting in a quiet room and everything, you know, with a professional mic and lights and stuff like that. But again, I do need to. I feel also while I'm organizing some of the slides, is that, you know, it's very time consuming to organize the lives, you know, to set up the specific times and so on. Instead, with this, you know, I can go like a little bit more on my own schedule, and kind of, you know, whenever I go live. And actually, I've been last time on this kind of type of show. I probably should brand them in a different way. Right now, I say live networking, kind of radio or something, or live radio. An old colleague from Nokia times came, and we started speaking for an hour and a half about 5G and Wi-Fi 6 and all these hardware technologies, you know. So it was again like an impromptu conversation, which, you know, I think for me was amazing. Of course, if somebody's not into hardware, they're not gonna find it interesting. But I think that the whole live streams, the more professional ones, the more planned ones are great. But I think there's gonna be this kind of, you know, the same thing that happens with this, what's it called, house party, which I haven't really tried it up. Have you tried it up?
No, but I mean, as you rightly say, everything we do, like every Monday and Thursday evening when I run my creative huddle ups via Zoom, it's almost like that type of digital house parties. So a bunch of people who get together and super interactive, using all possible devices. And as you rightly say, I think the limit is currently only the broadband and the 5G and the connectivity. Everything else is actually super ready for it. Also, for your knowledge, since you're testing this whole story right now, I don't know if you realize, but the same thing which you are now running through Zoom is running at the same time on the LinkedIn, right? And I think they are actually not synchronized. So one of them is running way like Zoom is running more real time, and LinkedIn is running a couple of minutes back. Did you notice?
Yeah. Yeah, that I'm kind of fully aware of. So okay. It's just there's a lag in the live streaming and stuff. And yeah, this is actually what I'm testing. I'm testing the whole like live streaming from mobile through Zoom and so on. So that's really like kind of the key thing that I'm trying to do. And I forgot, for instance, I still need to get good at this. The reason why you actually need right now 2 phones is that I forgot to log into the Restream, no, the chat.restream.io, which basically aggregates all of the different possible comments that you might have gotten on different social networks in just one UI. So I'm still kind of, but but the thing is that again, why it's so early is that me as a user from this mobile live streaming, I need to hit so many buttons. Like it's like when you had to get some, MS-DOS machine to work. There was like a lot of stuff that needed to be done. So yeah. By the way, if you are on if you see it on LinkedIn Live, please do write a comment, even just test, because I'm still testing, and I'll show you how it looks. So this is how it looks. So it's just like one application, and then from here you can see like kind of all of the different social networks. So that's that's how it works. Notice the olive trees, still more olive trees here. We're in Puglia in the south.
That's the place where your granddad has the house, right?
Yeah, my whole family is from here. From now like 4 or 5 generations from the same town. That's why, like, after I lived in Rome 3 years, I went to an American high school, an American boarding school, and then I was in Milano and Bocconi for 5 years and 10 years abroad. So I was 18 years away from Puglia, but now I'm back. Also, thanks to having finally like stuff like fiber optics and stuff. And decently good 4G network that it's allow me to do a live streaming on the go.
Yeah, for the police, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, to be honest, like I said, I know I'm risking a little bit my image, because it is new, and live streaming has been, I know I keep saying it, but I want to stress the point of how trying out new stuff and pushing boundaries really excites me, because again, I just don't believe that all of the LinkedIn lives you have to be like in a suit and a jacket and a nice studio and everything is like nice and perfect. We've been listening to radio and the quality wasn't amazing, and we still enjoyed it. We enjoyed like the ability to dialing into radio, right? So that whole very professional LinkedIn type of thing, which I love still, we also need to open up our minds and live a little bit more kind of impromptu networking, and people just jumping in. There was a random guy who jumped in before. He was a Zoom bomber, I'm sure, because his name was Paul or something. I asked him, Paul, who are you? And then he just left. I was like, I'm not accepting if I don't know you. But that's just part of the fun, I believe.
No, absolutely. I mean, you're making a very valid point also for anyone who is listening to you right now. I can only second what you said in terms of, like kind of, we were just talking about education and connecting education to streaming and to the whole digital platform. And you're providing the perfect example of how real learning is taking place. You are daring, you said you're risking your image, but to me it's like you're daring to step forward. You're taking high risk. This is all entrepreneurial. You push it to the edge. You try to try out things without knowing where it might end, and you try to push it to as far as possible, not being afraid of the failure, knowing that it is not a failure because whatever comes out of it is a learning for you. So, and this is the perfect learning curve. You're doing it absolutely fine. So I'm sure people who are listening to you right now or watching you, they should and they would appreciate, because this is how exactly learning is done. You pick up the topic of your choice, where you have a passion for and where you're hungry for, and you have a reason to follow up and learn about because you want to do something with it. And once you have those attributes, there is nothing to hold you back from that learning, and you just hit the road, and whatever happens can only be good. So my hat off, you're doing it right. So go on.
Thanks for the good words, the kind words. To be honest, like yeah, I felt the rush whenever I was doing this first lives, you know, from Zoom and from switching from mobile and just venturing out. That was starting to feel quite good about it, actually. Again, I am planning like the more professional approach, which hopefully we can organize with Santiago from IE, Instituto de Empresa. Like I said, he's got 150,000 followers. And actually, I'm helping him out to get on the live streaming. He hasn't done that yet. You know, it's like, oh, you know, you should be my consultant. I'm like, look, I like you. Let's do this live stream. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out, type of thing. You know. But there was another thought that I had about education. I don't know if it ever occurred to you. So some of my favorite games when I was a kid was like SimCity and Team Hospital, all these like simulation games.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I've never after maybe I was 14 when I went to the American boarding school, where you actually, you know, in a boarding school you're actually interacting with people, so you don't need to play video games anymore alone in your room because you're you know, living together with 40 young people. So you don't have time even for video games. You're always around, especially in Rome. You know how beautiful Rome is. Imagine at 15. So, but still, the concepts that were in some of these like simulation games were amazing, right? And so managing your town, managing a hospital.
That's
and
right.
I'm still trying to figure out, like, I feel that there's an opportunity in terms of building some games that would allow entrepreneurs to learn how it's done in a real way. So let's say, for instance, this school that we had in mind, ideally, and that would not be V1, that would be V10 or V3. You know, it'd be at some point a game with which you log in and you start to see all these different opportunities of like softwares you can promote and whatever affiliate programs you can jump in and maybe start some drop shipping, right? And you know, you connect your Stripe to a game and you have all that leaderboard and all that stuff, so it becomes like super addictive to become an entrepreneur, to make money, right? Because you have all the gamification. Have you seen anything around this topic?
Yeah, a tiny bit, not the real gamified version, but I've seen there is something really interesting. It's produced by Salesforce, if I'm not mistaken, and they have used AI to simulate how different versions of taxation could become the most efficient way of providing government with funds and money to invest back into the society and make like the best possible financial ecosystem within a country or a city. And that is done super gamified. And you as a user basically can start using the different ways the AI is trying to tax the individuals and companies, and how that taxed money is then pushed back into the society by, I don't know, building roads and doing whatever. So it's beautifully done. It's basic.
Do you remember the name? I'd love to check it out.
Maybe I can't even find it out on my friend of mine works for them, and he sent it to me just recently. Give me a second, maybe I find that. It was really, really interesting and got my attention. So yeah, it's called The AI Economist.
Okay, so the AI. So if I just Google that, we should be able to find it.
Yeah, I can try to see if I can show you the. Yeah, and it's interesting what you say, because it even says that it's a new global platform to unleash entrepreneurs on the world's toughest problems. So it's really, really interesting. There are two things which it's actually, you can easily find it on YouTube. Hang on. Sorry, so I think, so can you see that?
Yeah, I can. The AI Economist, Salesforce.
Yeah, so,
I'm sure we'll find it with that way.
Yeah, so you have it now on your recording. And so yeah, this is the one. And then, so I've seen two things in terms of platforms. So you're very close with what you're saying. There is another one which I highly recommend you to take a look at. But that's not, so no, that's not the gaming one. is different. So yeah, I can sympathize with what you said, and it's not done so often, and it has room for it, as you rightly say. I think business simulation always was a thing. Even on the classroom situations, most of the programs I design is always simulating real projects and real cases and scenarios, so that people can have a better feel for what's the usage of the learning. And so with a gamified version of what you just said, especially on that environment of dealing with software and with the SaaS and with the whole cycle of making money via internet, it's dodgy enough and unknown enough for people who are not used to that. So it's really helping to make them understand what is really behind that and what the serious part of it is and how can it be done. And that's gamified for sure. All young generation and new kids on the block would want to do it.
Yeah, I've been always wanting to do this. I remember like back, I was a kid. I was like a little kid. I think I could have been 12 or 13. There was some program to basically make money with SMS, some affiliate program to make money with SMS. And I cannot remember exactly the details. So actually a German company, I think maybe Fintech from Munich. Mm-hmm. And I was so fascinated by that, so now we have so many. There were very little opportunities before to make money online. Now there are so many, but still to a young kid who still doesn't know which it's not really into the web. It's hard to get in. Here are some young kids that are like screaming now.
Yeah, I hear that in the background.
And it's so funny here in my town. They thought I was a foreigner, so actually I told them some stuff in dialect. So I went on mute. So but here we are deep in the countryside. By the way, like still, aren't you amazed at how many olive trees there are? Just olive trees. That's how we got.
Beautiful.
So yeah, I mean, this was like super fun. I could continue, but I also feel like I could go a little bit into nature now.
Yeah, and I think have 4 minutes left as well, so which is great.
Yeah, but it was super fun. Thanks so much for joining. I'm getting better, of course, at managing this kind of Zoom on the go, and I learned last time about not admitting who I don't know. So when I saw your name, I was like, amazing. But still, it's so early for Zoom because I shouldn't tell this, or Zoom bombers will know this. But you can just put a name of somebody that I would know, and I'm like, oh, it's you, and then it's not.
That's why I showed my face.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. No, what I was trying to do as well, and I'll check it out next time, is that I was trying to build some breakout rooms in Zoom, so that hopefully I could add somebody to a breakout room, be like, okay, show me who you are. Okay, now I throw you in the main room, but I still need to kind of test that. But anyways, looking forward to see your materials on your education startup for sure.
Absolutely.
And yeah, like send me whatever I could forward to Santiago, so that meanwhile I'll forward him your LinkedIn profile.
Sure.
And yeah, looking forward to chat more about education, the future of education. I mean, it's here and now. We gotta do more about it. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Have a good one. It was great seeing you, man.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you so much. It was so fun. Ciao, Jamshid. Ciao, ciao. Bye, everybody. Ciao, ciao. Actually, I need to stop it from another device. I'm still kind of getting used to this, but this was great. I mean, obviously having people that I know that are amazing, it's super important. But okay, I found a way here. It's full. Done. Bye-bye.